Devils, my name is Stephen Howson and this is the Full Time Review, the show where we dissect everything that happened in the weekend. We look at the manager's press conference, we have a quick look at the highlights of the fan cams, and then we also have United on YouTube where you guys can have your say if you want to send us a 30-second video as well. We've also got you guys involved in the comments, so we're going to have a little bit of a discussion back and forth. Now normally we would just sit here and absolutely lose our minds about what's just happened at the weekend, particularly with the performance and the result that we've just got. But with it being Champions League week, with the game being tomorrow afternoon, we are also probably going to be getting live updates from the press conference. So if I get any of those, because it's happening like right now, I'll be giving you those live and we can react to those live. There's also training happening at the moment where there's a couple of key players missing. Rojo's obviously still injured, but Herrera and Lingard are two of the big ones that aren't featuring in today's training session. Now that might just be because for Lingard especially, he's being rested, because as far as I'm aware he's not injured. That might not be a bad idea, is to get some rest into the players, because a lot of the players involved at the World Cup have looked sluggish. Marshall, Sanchez aren't involved at the World Cup, no excuse. I have no idea what's going on with them. So shall we get involved into what happened at weekend then? I've not watched it back. I don't want to watch it back. I'm not even going to watch it back. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, normally I watch the game again and I watch it silently and I try and analyse it myself. I can't even bring myself to do it. I don't want to do it. It was a performance that made no sense. Normally I can see what United are trying to do. Right or wrongly, whether we achieve it or we don't, I can normally sort of identify what the idea behind something is. I have no idea what we were trying to do at weekend. No idea. And as I've said a million times so far, there is not one person to blame for this performance. Now, people saying, what did Ed Woodward have to do with that at weekend? Yeah, you're right, not a lot. But they create an environment and they create a platform for the club to go off. So there's a hierarchy of blame that starts with the Glazers, goes right down through Woodward. Jose's definitely got a large percentage, and it probably changes week by week. He's got a large percentage this week because I thought his tactics and formation made no sense whatsoever. Now, sometimes his tactics and formation can be correct, like against Tottenham at home, and individual mistakes can take the result out of his hands and leave us defeated. That wasn't the case this weekend. His tactics and his formation did not lead to us having any sort of foothold in that game. We didn't park the bus. People need to get out of this habit of saying that we park the bus places when we just shit performance. That was just a shit performance. It wasn't parking the bus. But it was disappointing on multiple levels, because you have to question the players as well as Jose. Jose was absolutely at fault, and I think he's probably going to be looking at paying for that performance with the performances that preceded it with his job. I'm almost sure, in fact, and I think this game against Valencia this week is going to play a massive part into how that exactly goes down. But where's the professional pride coming from the players? Where's the professional pride coming from those individuals that put on a Manchester United shirt? This is Manchester United, remember. This isn't whoever you want it to be. Let's see what the manager has to say in his press conference anyway, because there's some very interesting things that I'd like to talk to you guys about with it. Let's check it out.
I think we need a good start, and we didn't have that good start. After result on Tuesday, the team obviously needs positive things, needs positive feelings, and to start losing after 5 minutes is not that positive start that you need. It's an offside goal, but no VAR. Last Tuesday VAR, the goal would be disallowed. No VAR, the linesman made this mistake, and we were punished with that goal, and I think the team felt it. And then the second goal is our mistake, come in the worst possible moment, which is before the half time. A goal that is hard to accept. Not because it's our own goal, but because Yarmolenko is in the box. We do our homework. We know Yarmolenko is a left-footed. We know that he plays only to the inside. We know that in everyone in these positions, the inside positions, he wants to shoot. And we have Matic on the ball. We have Luke Shaw and Lindelof a couple of yards. We have to block. We have to press, we have to stop the shot. and we didn't. So 2-0. I want to play Martial, something that you are asking for a long time to play Martial. I left Alexis out, and I think that Martial is not a player very focused on his defensive duties. And to play him as a second striker and trying just to cover the area of Rice would be much easier for him. And at the same time, I feel that we need quality on the ball, on the building up from the back. And Scott McTominay has that quality with the ball. Everything that left his foot was correct, was accurate. The passes to Ashley Young on the right, the passes to the striker, the passes to Matic, everything was accurate from him. A part of a special character, a special personality that the team in a negative moment needs. A team in a negative moment needs this kind of mentality like Scott McTominay has.
Do enough of your players have that mentality, Jose?
Sorry?
Do enough of your players have that mentality?
Not all of them, but every player is a different player. Every player is a different person, like you. You are not the same. You are different people. You are different personality from your fellow on the left and your fellow on the right. Football players are the same. Scott McTominay is a kid with a special character. He's very humble. He's aggressive in the right positive way. He's brave. So he's a special kid.
Righty then, let's listen and let's go back through what some of the stuff Jose had said. Not a positive start, he says right at the top of the press conference there, and I have to agree, and I think this has been a problem for us certainly all of this season, but no, it wasn't all of last season either. It certainly wasn't the back end of the season. When United go a goal down, we look finished. We don't look like we've got the fight in us to turn a result around like we used to have. And we've even had it under Jose at times where we've managed to pour forward and chase every result. But at the moment when a goal goes in, it's like we didn't plan for that to happen, and now we don't know what to do, which I find hard to believe with the ultra-prepared mentality that Jose's got. He then goes on to talk about, I wanted to play Marshall, I left Alexis out, you lot wanted me to play Marshall. I think Marshall's not a player focused on defensive duties. Sounds like he needed to cover Rice, and he didn't really do that. Is he digging him out there for being someone that doesn't fit his system? Jose doesn't say anything that he says in these press conferences for no reason. I think he's always got some sort of agenda when he's talking in these press conferences. And I certainly think he has an agenda when he starts talking about Scott McTominay. And he says, we played Scott McTominay so we could build out from the back. He's got a special character, special personality, this, that, and the other. Now, you've got Eric Bailly. Now, I know that you wanted a leader in defence and someone who could play out from the back in the transfer window. Is this his way of keep showing to the board, I told you I wanted a defender, you didn't get me a defender? Now he says Scott, special character, special personality, was perfect playing it out from the back, and that's the thing that he seems to really harp on around. But Scott's passing, his pass completion, was the worst of the three centre-halves that was involved on Saturday against West Ham. These are facts, Jose. Like, if you want to start talking about things that have happened, Scott's passing was the worst of the three, and I think he's kind of come out and been overly praising of Scott McTominay because he kind of threw him under the bus by playing him in that position when it's not a position that he's ever excelled in the past. Why didn't play Ander Herrera then if he wanted that? Because I thought he was all right against Spurs. Why he didn't play Eric Bailly there is mind-boggling. And I think this is really starting to unravel for Jose at the moment, which is why you can see most of you guys commenting here, a lot of the guys in the fan cams, and I think it's almost universal with the guys in United on YouTube, saying the time is up for the guy. I think it really hinges on what happens tomorrow night, because if we do win, let's say we put 5 past Valencia at home and it's an unbelievable performance, What happens then? Everyone's just going to lose their mind about, I don't know what to do now. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you think it's the end? Do you think there's any more chances for it to happen? Do you believe that this guy can turn it around, or do we need to start again with somebody else? I honestly think that just fixing the manager isn't going to fix the problem. There's leadership issues from the top to the bottom of the club. Because before we got Mourinho, I said, what happens if it's not him? And everyone was like, it's definitely going to be him. I said, what happens if it's not him? You heard what I was saying about Van Gaal. I said it all the way to the end, that there's problems with leadership at the club, that we need directors of football, that you need to have hierarchy and succession plans. The club has got no direction and no idea where it's going. And because we've got no idea and no direction, we're going to just pick up flavour of the month, flavour of the month, flavour of the month. Anytime that it's not worked out with a manager, bin him, get the new flavour of the month. That's not how you run a successful club. You need to have a plan in place. You need to have something that's got guarantees that 17-year-old Mason Greenwood has got a way to get into the first team regardless of who the manager is. You need to have an idea of where the club's going to be in 5 and 10 years, not just lurching from one ill-thought-out appointment to another. That's not how you run a successful football club, but that's what we've got at the moment, because we've got non-football fans involved running this like it's a business. It's not a business, it's not a franchise of Greg's, it's a football club with a rich history and tradition that you fucking dicks are absolutely taking the piss out of. What are you saying in the comments? Manager won't have a director of football, though. Well, sometimes you have to just say you're having one, and the club needs one. I don't even want to watch the game against Valencia, says Jesus. Sanchez is so dead. Rest in peace, you'll never walk alone. Klopp was flavour of the month at one point. Team is the problem. You need to sell bad players like Pep did in City. Sometimes you don't have the ability to be able to just completely overhaul a defence that you've bought and a goalkeeper that you've bought. It's such a shambles, says Jesus. Has to be Giggs, says Anko. Again, I mean, for everyone saying Ryan Giggs, why Ryan Giggs? What has he done as a manager that's made you think that he's anything above ordinary at the moment? He could be absolutely bang average ordinary. We don't know. Now, I understand the thinking behind bringing someone in. There's multiple facets to being a football manager that you can't really measure, man management being one of them. If someone's a better man manager, you're probably going to get more juice out of the lemons that you're squeezing than perhaps Jose is at the moment, who looks tired, who looks like he's almost out of ideas. CV-wise and history-wise, Jose's the best manager that we could possibly get. That doesn't mean that you can bring somebody in that might get more out of them because he's a better personable manager and they want to work with him and they want to play with him. We've all had wanker bosses that you just can't be asked going into work for. That's right, Chris. So everyone knows what that's like. See, what about Solskjaer? I mean, yeah, these are all great shouts. People that would understand the club, fantastic. But look at what Solskjaer did when he came over to England. Wasn't anything spectacular, was it? Zidane is better than Giggs, but even Zidane is a risky bet. Zidane's a massively risky bet. Zidane won 1 title in 3 with a Real Madrid side that is an embarrassment of riches, and Ronaldo scoring a goal a game for them. And he finished as far off Barcelona as we finished off Manchester City last season. What makes you think he can turn that around when he's got Smalling and Jones instead of Ramos and Varane? Yeah, Jacob says, get roasted, Chris. CV and history don't win future titles. You need someone with younger, fresher ideas. I really love the idea of someone like Nagelsmann, someone that's going to bring in a completely fresh look at it, look at everything from a real meticulous science, sports science sort of point of view. Now people will be like, he signed a pre-contract with Leipzig, sweet. I remember a press conference where Obi Mikel was wearing a United shirt and he signed for Chelsea. Just because something's planned doesn't mean that it would happen. I think United could turn the head of anybody that we wanted to. But it needs a plan in place, and it needs an overhaul of the system from front to back and a direction put into the club, rather than, can you just get us in the top 4 so we can maintain all our sponsorships? Bollocks to that. We need an owner and a director of football that wants to just push us into excellence. Should we have a look at what the fan cams have got to say? Let's see what all the boys were saying outside the London Stadium this week.
It's just not acceptable at all. They just don't look like, I don't know whether they want to play for the shirt, they want to play for Mourinho. There's no cohesion. People just go every week, follow him week in, week out. We're expecting it to change. We think, all right, yeah, West Ham beat Macclesfield 8-0. Yeah, but they're only playing Macclesfield. It doesn't make a difference. We're just not on it.
I've seen pathetic performances over the last 5 years since Fergie left. Some pathetic ones, but that's probably the worst one I've seen. You could just tell Mourinho he's lost them all. He's lost them.
If we care as passionately as we do, and that's the end result, where's this going? All right, people say sack Mourinho. If the players just turn it around then that's disgraceful, because where the have you been for the last year? But 2018, this isn't this season. We started the year terrible, boring football, negative football. We drew at December. We got knocked out with Seville. He then turned it against the fans. I'm bigger than this seat. You're like Portsmouth. Toxic, top to bottom, toxic. Who the turns this around? I don't know. Get a director of football in first. That's 2 months since they said that now. Multi-million-pound organisations do things quickly, sharply, incisively. Get one done as soon as possible. So the longer it carries on, this is going to get worse.
Well said, mate. Well said.
Before kick-off, all the fans were singing Jose Mourinho, and when Pogba went off, everybody was slating him. So certainly from where I was stood, that seemed to be that's what they thought. But I no longer know what to think. I don't see, because I'm not going to say sack the manager, because could another manager come in and and then Sanchez, Martial, and Lukaku fire?
Trouble is, there's so many little half-truths you can look at, and then it just gets all blown out of proportion. But I think we need to back Jose still, you know what I mean?
Still behind him?
Yeah, totally. What's the point of sacking him? Who are you going to realistically get, especially at this stage now? We need to at least, we can't keep sacking managers.
That's 11 points dropped in the league. We're only in September.
Top 4 at the moment. We'll make top 6, but top 4 is where we've got to concentrate at the moment. And the biggest cheer we had today was when Pogba went off. He was shocking today. Just show pony stuff. Yeah.
If we sack Mourinho, is Zidane. Zidane had a worldie of a team. He absolutely had a fantastic team. He had Ronaldo scoring a goal, getting more than a goal a game. He had the two best centre halves in world football at the moment, Varane and Ramos. We have Smalling and Jones. We have. He's not, like you say, he's not friends with Bailly at the moment, so... Oh, mate, it's just awful. It's awful. The team performance is just shocking.
There we go. Thank you to everybody that come and spoke to us outside West Ham after the game on Saturday, which obviously wasn't pretty. I'm going to come to the comments as well, so if you guys have got some questions for us, bang those in and I'll get answering those. So as Sam says at the start, unacceptable. I thought Barney had a great a whole section of comments, to be honest. He says, even if the players manage to turn this little bit around, it's still toxic from top to bottom. We've got problems from top to bottom, and I totally echo exactly what Barney was saying there. I think he's spot on the money that it's not just one guy can change the difference of this. There's problems all over the place. Howson sort off this channel. Probably not, my friend. John saying he's still behind him. I think those are becoming fewer and fewer voices as the weeks go ahead. The lad that was saying people talking about top 4, realistically it's a top 6, and I think that's very interesting. I think right now there's 3 teams that are a level above us, if not multiple levels above us, and that's City, Liverpool and Chelsea. And I really enjoyed watching Chelsea and Liverpool at weekend. I was a bit gutted that Liverpool managed to get an equaliser, but when you look at that game, you go, if we got to Stamford Bridge, we're getting 5 put past us. The current form that we're playing in. That Chelsea team's playing fantastic. And it's on par with the City and Liverpool's out there at the moment. And we are not on that level. Which means that you go, right, where can we finish this season then? All right, we can finish 4th. To finish 4th, we need to maintain that Spurs aren't going to pick up where their terrible form is at the moment. That Arsenal are going to crumble a little bit with Europa League. But we're reliant on other people. We're not going to do it under our own steam, I don't think. That's why I feel like change is coming, whether we want it or not. Let's see what you guys are saying. Raul says, if McTominay is so good, why not play Valencia in a back 3, McTominay on the wing? It's a bit of a difference playing right wing back. Would I take Sam Allardyce? Take him at Greg's. Take him as a manager. 3 managers can't all be dog shit. I just lost the rest of the comment, but I agree on that. Yeah, there's a pattern being set here that isn't getting broken, that we can't just constantly be blaming all of these different managers that have come with fantastic CVs and past track records. There's obviously something fundamentally wrong with some of the players. West Ham fans in the comments saying, great watching Man U struggle. Well, I guess you're used to watching teams struggle, so maybe you're just happy days with that, aren't you? Nowhere near the top 4 team, says Herman. We're not, mate. Well, I think we're nowhere near the top 3, I think. Stephen, when was the last time you remember Mourinho saying he got his tactics wrong? It's always the players, the pitch, the refs, the attitude of fans, and the lack of VAR. I don't think he's ever said it, but I don't ever remember Fergie saying it either. That's just how winning mentalities are sometimes, that they don't come out and admit it. They might admit it in private to the players. He might say, do you know what, I got that wrong. Supposedly he did that with the Pogba situation a little bit last week, but you're never going to do it publicly because of the way everything gets completely twisted. The 3 manager has been garbage. What are you on about? Well, Louis van Gaal was not garbage when he arrived. Mourinho was not garbage when he arrived. Moyes was a man with a big reputation and everyone was hoping to see the potential. Now, the end result is that they've all looked kind of bad. But going into it, no one thought that was going to be the case. The only concurrent thing throughout all of these is a lot of the players, it's not all the same players, but it's a lot of the players. Will a new manager help? If not, the board do the same thing as they do now? I mean, yeah, what happens if, let's say it's Zidane, and you get Zidane in, and 2.5 years down the line, everyone's going, get rid of him, he's got no idea, he's got no experience, look at, he's never done it outside of Spain, can't do it without Ronaldo. What if it's Ancelotti? Oh, he's a dinosaur, he's past it. Like, at what point do the board have to look at themselves and go, we need a better football structure inside this place? What the hell was Everett doing in the stands with Woodward? I imagine watching the game, considering that he's recently played for West Ham and obviously is a legend at United. I'm sure he was invited by both clubs to come and sit there, and they might as well just sit him next to the United directors. I imagine that was the case. Bring in director of football of Atletico or Juve. There's a lot of good ones out there, and we've been linked with a lot of them. What am I talking about? Mourinho came to United after the worst form of his life at Chelsea, but it's still Jose Mourinho at the end of the day. He's still a guy that managed to win a title in the worst form of his life. Some managers go their entire careers and never win a title, and people still clamour for them, like Pochettino. I think Arsenal will have a renaissance. Emery is a good manager. They're attacking on the level of Chelsea, Liverpool and City. I absolutely disagree. Their attack is nowhere near the level of City, level and Chelsea, but at the moment it's better than ours. Dean says some United fans forgot Pogba and Carrick confronted, I think he means to say, Jose last year, but didn't come out to the media. Nothing changed this year, so Pogba has the balls to come out and say it. Now, I think there's some very interesting perspectives on this. People talking about Pogba not being a bit toxic, and I think it's definitely coming out that way. There was obviously boos when he came off on Saturday. But what if Pogba's being a leader? What if Pogba is taking this out publicly on benefit of Marshall, Baye, some of the other players that he feels have been mistreated by Jose in the squad? What if that's the case? That's a real leader. That is a real leader. And I would be right 100% behind any player that was doing that as a leader if I didn't know for a certainty that he's trying to engineer a move away to Barcelona. That's when I go, that's not real leader talk, is it? Now, if he's saying, I'll stick around if you get a new manager, well, that's a bit different. But either way, I can't go completely behind it when I know that's the case. Joey says, should the United fans protest the Glazers and not attend matches? Here's the thing, man. It doesn't matter. Because in 2005, we saw 2,500, 3,000 really good Reds leave the club and never come back to form FC United in protest at the Glazer takeover. And what happened? Just fill them seats right back up. There's so much demand to be a season ticket holder and a regular at Manchester United that I don't think those things hurt them. I don't think they care. I think they just replace them, and we lose a lot of good fans by doing that. Now, if there was some sort of 10-minute boycott, walkout, something along those lines, I'm only speaking on my own behalf, I don't speak on behalf of Full-Time Devils, but I would assume that the fan channels would support that sort of thing along with the fanzines. But someone has to stick their head up and come up with the idea. It's not my place to do that. That's what the supporters groups and the supporters trust there to do. If they do it, I'm sure we would back it. But it's not our place. Loads of people in the comments saying sack Jose. So on that note, I'm going to head it over to United on YouTube. These lads have got some absolutely bangers. There's loads more new ones as well, and I'll tell you afterwards how you can get involved and become part of this on United on YouTube. But let's see what the lads were saying.
What a disgraceful performance from Manchester United. What was that out there that I just witnessed? Why are we playing Scott McTominay in a back three? We have Eric Bailly sitting there on the bench. We've got Marcus Rojo and even Phil Jones in the squad. Why is Scott McTominay playing there?
I thought it was a shambles, to be honest. Imagine paying 120 quid to travel down all the way to London if you include match tickets and travel for that. I mean, it's just embarrassing. I feel sorry for the people that had to go down and watch that.
Absolutely embarrassing. Like, I was Mourinho in before this, but the guy's got to go. Playing 5 at the back against West Ham, a team who's got the second worst form in the entire league.
No reaction from the players, no reaction from the manager. The lineup was shocking.
I'm really sick of everyone and myself for giving Mourinho excuses every time something happens.
Obviously, the way we started the game, I feel like we just invited pressure way too early. Like, what we tend to do is just invite the pressure instead of just pressing up the pitch.
First of all, playing an extra defender against a team who hasn't won at home is the stupidest thing to do.
West Ham definitely deserved the win. To put it simply, the whole game, they always look like winning.
So, what now for Manchester United? Is it the end for Jose Mourinho? It looks like, because the players clearly aren't playing for him.
As soon as Mourinho changed the tactics, I think when we went to 3 at the back, we looked much more attacking, and that's where the goal came from. And I think we're a attacking team, and we should just play like that.
We should go into this game attacking, all guns blazing, but no, yet again, he's just holding back just like that Sevilla game. And he just can't keep up with it. It was like he was trying to prove a point to Pogba, Martial taking him off when he did.
The whole team was a shambles. The only positive was Rashford's goal. But apart from that, everyone in that team should be embarrassed after that performance. We were outclassed by West Ham. We were outclassed by Derby midweek. Shouldn't be happening. I'm really not happy about this, nor is anyone else really.
Why are we going to the London Stadium and having to play Matic and Fellaini? We're Manchester United, for God's sake. We're going there and giving West Ham the respect. We should be going out there and blowing them out of the water.
Second thing, Jose Mourinho comes out and gives the reason that Anthony Martial cannot track back. That's why he played an extra defender. So you mean to say Anthony Martial has never played in a 4-3-3 system? We have never won with Anthony Martial play in a 4-3-3 system.
I love Jose Mourinho, and the players on their day are really, really good players, but West Ham were better than us.
And I don't know. Hopefully we see some sort of reaction on next games, or the board, or a reaction from the board if they make some sort of decision to let Mourinho go. But hopefully we just see improvements in our next games against Valencia in the Champions League and Newcastle at home.
If you really look at Manchester United, you'll notice that all our best players are underperforming.
The only positive thing I have to say, Marcus Rashford's finish. Beautiful.
I mean, I can't believe we lost to West Ham, and we need to do better, or I feel Mourinho should go, probably at the end of the season, but still.
And his ego's getting too big for the club now, he's got to go.
Wouldn't be surprised to see him leave the club in a few weeks, especially by Christmas.
For me, I think Mourinho, he's had his time. It's not working for him. I think we need to get him out, get someone fresh with new ideas into the team and try and build this team's morale up again.
We shouldn't make excuses for Mourinho. He's to blame.
So thank you for watching. Subscribe to Full Time Devils.
But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll try and answer a few of the questions if I'm down there. And yeah, make sure you stay subscribed to Full Time Devils.
Thanks to everybody that got involved in United on YouTube. If you would like to get involved, and the likes of John Shin and Simon Preston started off doing United on YouTube before we brought them into the previews as well. That is how you do it. Then all you got to do is send us a 30-second review following the weekend's game, and you will be in next Monday's or the following or whenever's United review. 30-second review talking about the game, fulltimedevils@gmail.com. Link and details are in the description. You guys get your comments in, and I will read them all out. Why is McTominay playing ahead of Bailly and Jones? We covered that a bit earlier, didn't we? But yeah, absolutely, completely agree. Trig, debut there. Going down quite well, looking at the comments. All the best players are underperforming, and I think that is as good as you can say it, isn't it? A good manager's going to get bad players performing, and a bad manager's probably not getting the best out of the ones that he's got about him. Everyone's calling it a day on Jose, it seems. Every single person seems to be a little bit negative on it. Daniel says, last season when we resigned Zlatan, Lukaku played his best game. Right now he has no competition, maybe having another strike or push. I actually think he played his worst period when we re-signed Zlatan. I think once we announced his signing, his form sort of dipped until we sort of fixed it. But I know what you mean. There isn't much competition for him because nobody else can do that he does, really. Is this even United anymore, says Cham. There's a lot of people have been saying that since pre-season. The atmosphere was not great in pre-season, and I don't know when it'll come out, but there'll be some stuff come out about the organisation during pre-season, about how players was asked to return from pre-organised and agreed holidays ahead of time, and even tried to be played in matches before they'd even trained as part of the tour because of sponsorship commitments, which is ridiculous. So I don't know when that comes out, but I think that's a contributing factor to how we're seeing the season going down right now. What do I think about Julian Nagelsmann on a long-term project? Nagelsmann, I'm a big fan of, absolutely. Don't drag the board into it. It's got nothing to do with them. It's got everything to do with them. Direction, everything of the board comes from them. Does Lukaku need to take the penalties? As a left footer, I'll tell you, left footers aren't the most reliable at penalties. So maybe not. It's not negative, it's frustrating. Our manager doesn't even understand the legacy of United. I think he does. Whether or not he can adhere to it, I don't know. What do I think about Nagelsmann and the long-term project? Just answered that one. Something really needs to change. Who knows what? But something has to change. I agree on that, Boompool. I absolutely agree that you've got to see something change, whether it's bring in some academy players to freshen up and add some competition for some places and jolt what's going on with some of the first team players. I really don't know what it is that needs to change, but I absolutely agree that things need to change. We've got loads of content coming out that you guys can check out. We have got the return of Bushcam, should the lads manage to make it back from Carrington without getting attacked by dogs on the way back. We've got Jose Mourinho's press conference ahead of the Champions League game as well. There's loads of stuff happening tomorrow that you could be checking out. We've got the under-19s game at Lee, so if you're down there, I will see you down there. And then obviously we've got the Champions League game at Old Trafford. And who knows, it could be the last time that we see Jose Mourinho as a Manchester United manager. I'm sure a lot of people would want that, but I think it means we would lose. I don't ever want to see us lose. So I will see you there if you're down there. Make sure to check out all the stuff coming out on the channel pre and post. We've obviously got the preview coming as well, and we will see you in the next one. Laters.